Hello everyone, I am Galadus Music, and those that are subscribed to me have probably heard this story before. It's in my other video. It's called Behind the Song Move Forward. And Move Forward is a song that God gave me that I wrote. It's my testimony. And most of you who've watched my other videos probably know that. But this is a different kind of video, and I want to tell the story of where the Lord has brought me. And I'm hoping this testimony will, help somebody who's watching it, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, and maybe one of the groups I'm in on Facebook. This story is to bring God glory and to show people that, God is merciful, God is loving, and God wants you. And I want to tell the story of where, how God rescued me in a situation that nobody else could get me out of but God Himself. So, I may repeat myself, I may say something now, let's just get it started. Anyway, this all begins with a girl I was dating. I'm not going to say any names. I just want to... anyway, long story short, I had this girlfriend who, at the time, I was dating a series of women who were all a little bit not up there, kind of crazy. But there was this girl I was dating, and she supposedly could talk to spirits. She had this one spirit that she talked to more often than any other. And at the time, I knew about it, didn't care. Never seen her do it. She'd always tell me, well, Sora told me this, Sora told me that. That was a spirit's name that she talked to. And her name was Sora. So, I didn't know, and I didn't care. I never talked to it. She would always say, well, this is what this thing told me, and so I'm like, whatever. And we'd go on about our lives, and nothing normal. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing... Yeah, it was something she talked to, and I didn't really care that it existed or not. But anyway, so fast forward a little bit, and I wake up at 3 in the morning, and we're in bed, and beside my bed is my son's crib, and normally I sleep with the TV on, some sort of noise, white noise, that would, drown out the silence. This night, it was different, and there was nobody. We were all asleep, and I wake up at maybe 3:30 in the morning, and I hear this faint, very almost silent, but enough to where I heard something whispering down the hallway, and it was saying, hello Stephen, hello Stephen, hello Stephen. And I was listening, and I was like, what is that? So I was tuning into it, and I was trying to figure out what the heck it was. And so it says, I'm Sora, and it kept repeating, but it was like a whisper, a very faint whisper. And it was coming down at the end of the hallway. And so I'm like, what in the world is this? And it was like, I'm Sora. And it said, that thing Megan talks to? And I used the name. But anyway, you don't know her last name, so. Anyway, she said, this thing said, yes, I'm Sora. I'm the thing that, confirming that it was the thing Megan talked to. So the very next day, I told Megan, I said, I talked to Sora. And she said, I told you it existed. I told you she was real. And so fast forward a little bit, and this thing is pulling me in, making me believe that this thing was real. And all this leads up to, where God found me and all, and I just don't want anybody thinking that. I'm just telling the story to tell it. Because, long story short, I'm talking to this thing. I'm communicating. It's getting louder in my ears to the point, but it's still, I didn't see anything throughout this whole thing. I did not see anything. It never revealed itself to me except by its voice. And so I'm talking to this thing, and it catches me by the heart. Really, it does, because it started imitating the daughter I lost. And this is how crazy, how the enemy wants to drag you down so bad. It will do anything and everything to break you down. And it sucked me in, honestly. It really pulled me in because it started imitating the daughter I lost. I had a daughter that, in a previous relationship, in my first marriage, where I lost a daughter. Her name was Destiny Nicole. And this thing started imitating her. So I thought this was an actual spirit. And it starts imitating her, and it has a personality. It was a little girl imitating everything, calling me daddy, everything. It really had me believing that it was her. And so, long story short, it's pulling me in deeper. It's pulling me in deeper, and I'm believing this thing is actually my daughter. And so, I mean, it was louder, and I was bonding with the daughter I lost. And at the time, I didn't even know that I was still damaged over the whole loss of my daughter thing. I mean, I was still hurt over it, and I didn't even realize it. But this is how God got me over it, really. He helped me to cope with it. I mean, it's been 5 years since this incident happened. And it's been almost 5 years since God rescued me and saved me from this tormented mind that I was set in. And the reason I say that is because I was still talking to this Sora thing, this Sora spirit. And it was still loud as could be. It was an exterior voice. And so, fast forward a little bit, and this thing, I would be doing anything, and it would get mad, sort of would. And it would use Destiny to calm me down, to bring me down, to calm me down, saying, it's going to be alright, just chill, just calm down, stuff like that. Not in those words, but, it would use a little girl's comforting voice and stuff like that. I really, honestly, it's just been, and so, more and more, I would be given these panic attacks, worried about, I was afraid to do anything before this thing would get set off. So one night, it escalated, and it revealed itself to me, not visually, but it revealed to me that it was a demon. I mean, I didn't see it, but I heard it. It was invading my dreams. Sora was too. And that was the only visual that I had. And it was a blonde-headed chick, blonde-headed woman. But it was using anything and everything to really break me down. And I was at this time, it revealed itself to be a demon. So I was scared to death. I mean, I was terrified. because I never encountered anything like this. I was terrified. I wanted just out of it. I wanted it to stop talking to me. I wanted it just to stop, period. And I mean, I didn't want to hear it anymore. And so it's crazy how it all just went down. And so this thing tells me, if you sell me, it says to me, if you sell me your soul, I'll disappear. You'll never have to hear me again. But when you die, you go to hell with me. It wanted to strike a deal. And at the time, I knew better. I always believed in God. I mean, I never stopped believing in God. And, but I thought God had his pick of who he wanted, and I didn't fall under that category. I knew better than to do this, but I was scared. I mean, I was terrified. I could not shake the fear. It was a fear like I've never known. And I just wanted this thing gone. So I wasn't thinking with my right mind. I was just thinking with the fear in my head. I just wanted it gone. And so I knew better. And it told me to say the word fine, to pretty much sell it off, sell my soul. And so I said it. After that, I mean, it was like 5 minutes before I actually could say it. Because I was thinking better than that, because I was just like, if this thing is real, if this thing is really telling me this, I can't do it. I said, I knew better, but I didn't know better, but I was scared more than anything. And I just wanted it gone. I just wanted this voice to shut up. So I said the word, and just as soon as I said it, I was having a panic attack already at the time. And so I was scared to death. And then my fear gets set to overdrive. This voice booms in my head. I could cover my ears like this, and it was still as loud as could be. And it was laughing at me, and it says, at 12 o'clock midnight, I'm killing you off. Not in those words, but that's pretty much how it said it. And my panic attack goes into overdrive. I could feel like there was a black hole under my feet, ready to suck me down in it, and ready to send me to hell. And I knew I messed up. I thought, in my own mind, I thought that there was this line you could cross with God, that he wouldn't want you anymore. That there was a line that I could cross that God couldn't reach me. God didn't want me. And so I was telling Megan, I said I done something stupid. Told my mom. Luckily, Mom had my son at the time. And I was scared to death. I wouldn't wish this fear on my worst enemy. That's just the best way I can say it. And so we jumped in the car, and I said, Megan, we gotta get out of here. So Mom runs in her room, takes Connor with, and she says, you better not come in here, I got my gun loaded. I didn't blame her, but she had my son at the time. And we jumped in Megan's car and drove off, and we were driving, and I was watching the clock. I was watching it, and I was seeing it. I was watching it, and it was like about 10:30, maybe 11, and got to Megan's house about 11:55, and I thought this thing was honestly going to kill me at 12. I'm panicked. I'm scared to death. And I go in her house, and her dad and stepmom's asleep. The door open and everything, but so I walk in her room, and she said, and so this thing tells me to go to Megan's door, Megan's bedroom door. She said that's where hell is. Of course, I'm scared to death, and I'm thinking this thing's telling the truth. I turn the doorknob, and it's Megan's room. And so it says to me, I'm going to play with you until I get bored, and then I'm going to kill you off, or something like that. But now I know the enemy is a liar. And I want anybody that's watched this far, if the enemy has told you something that it's going to do, that it's a liar. That's just it. It's a liar. The enemy can't touch you without God's permission. I mean, the enemy had to go to Job. Go to God before he could go to Job and stuff. He was like, I can't even tell you the story. All I can tell you is that the enemy had to go to God to get to Job, and he says, if I can do this, and Job will curse you and die. He says you can take everything from him but his life. God protected him even then, and Job didn't know what hit him. But he kept the faith, and if you do the same thing, God's going to keep you too. God's going to keep you anyway. But anyway, long story short. So after this, I had 6 hours sleep in 5 days. I was exhausted. I was so afraid to go to sleep because I felt like I wasn't going to wake up. And so the very next day, I called the preacher. I said, Pastor. Bro, I said, you don't know what I did. I said, I done the stupidest thing in the world. I messed up, and I know God doesn't want me. So I pretty much explained the story to him. He said, brother, the enemy's a liar. No, you don't know what I did. No, you don't understand how much God loves you. But you don't know what I did. And I'm trying to get this through to this preacher. And the preacher's trying to get through to me that you can't sell something that's not yours, and that's just what he told me. And I'm scared plumb to death, and I am not convinced that God is still on my side. And I was just terrified. I was so scared and everything. So he says, this Sunday, he said, I'll come to your house after church Wednesday, and we'll deal with it. And I'll talk to you then. So sure enough, he comes to my house. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember what day he chose, but I think it was Thursday. Thursday more than I do Wednesday. But anyway, he parks at the bottom of the hill. I run down there, scared plumb to death. Pastor, I done sold my soul. And he says, I can sense it on you. He says, I can sense the presence of the devil on you. He said, the words he used is the evil one. And so he prayed for me. I said, Pastor, I'm scared. I said, I'm scared that I can't go back. He says, remember what I said, that the enemy's a liar and you cannot sell what doesn't belong to you. Well, he said, Sunday, I'll come pick you up in the morning and we'll go to church. We'll deal with it then. It was the absolute longest weekend of my life. I was so scared, so terrified, and I don't even know how to explain. The seconds passed like hours, and the hours felt like days. Days felt like years, and I thought it was never going to come any sooner. So Sunday comes around, and I go to church. He picks me up like he tells me. And as soon as the doors open, because I remember walking up those stairs, and as soon as there was enough room for me to slip right through those doors, I was the first one in. And I bolted to that altar. I dropped to my knees and I begged God for forgiveness. I said, God, I'm so stupid. I said, I've done something so stupid against you. I said, God, if you could just forgive me. I can't even remember what I prayed. I said, God, please just forgive me. I said, I have done something so stupid. And you're the only one I can run to. You're the only one that understands. I said, God, please, please forgive me. And about mid-time through the prayer, I felt like, say, this is me. And I'm at the altar, and I felt something come up over my right shoulder like this. Something come over my left shoulder like this. And it felt like just this light, just people just pouring in over top of me. And that must have been angels or God himself with his presence, and he came over me, and I felt like a shell shielding me, and it felt like light. That's the only way I could describe it. It felt like light. And the only thing I could do would stop me dead in my prayer, and I closed my eyes, and I threw up my hands, and I didn't say anything. I just let it happen. Next thing I know, I fall back on the floor. I remember the red carpet and everything. And I felt the change in me. I really did. And I was so scared, so terrified, thinking that there was no hope left for me. And then this happens. And when my eyes opened, 3 people were praying over me. I was still afraid, still convinced that I was still going to hell. But I was always battling with depression. All my life, I was battling with depression. And that night, that Sunday morning, it was my normal before then, and it was gone. I didn't feel depression. I was still scared and still convinced that I had no hope left. And it took a long time, just like King David did. It took a long time for him to realize he was king. And it took a long time for me to realize I was saved. If I was meant to die, it would have been there. If God didn't have a purpose for me, my existence would end there. And often I forget that. And maybe this video is to remind me that I have a purpose. Maybe this is a video to help somebody out there and show them that they have a purpose. And so after that, I started going to church. Anytime the doors were open, I was there. Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday service, Easter service, anytime. And I realized, just how lucky I was. Finally, it took a long time. And God talked to me through a lot of it. I mean, God really opened up his heart to me. And the pastor, every time I went up there, I always asked God for forgiveness. I always told Pastor, I said, I want to draw closer to the Lord. And he prayed over me. Got to the point where he knew I'd be the first one up there too. And I said, I just want to be drawn closer to the Lord. And I'd stand in the gap for all my family. I stand in the gap for, I stood in the gap for my mom and my sister and my dad. And my sister was the first one to get saved after that. And the week after, my mom got saved. I don't know when my dad got saved. I can't remember that. But I do remember my sister, and the week after, it was Sunday morning, maybe? Sunday morning, my sister got saved. And the next Sunday morning, my mom got saved. And people started coming up to me. But I'm not trying to brag on myself. Because, it's just amazing what God did for me. And I was still afraid. I still heard that voice. And to this very day, it got quieter and quieter and quieter. And it still tries to talk to me to this day. But I'm not going to let it win. And I want it to hear that too. It's not going to win. I've been saved by the blood of Christ. I have been saved by the blood of Christ, and it's through the blood of Jesus that I was given a second chance. I'm so tired of sitting here and thinking that I'm just tired of going through the same thing, because God is amazing. God is love, and He's shown me that. I want to tell you another story. It was a Sunday night service, I should say. And my pastor at the time, the church I was going to where I got saved at, he was telling a story. And he was using a candle. It was part of the testimony. It was part of the message he was giving. And he said, he was using that, and somebody was speaking in tongues. I don't know if you believe that, but somebody was giving a message from the Lord. And the preacher was interpreting it. I was standing in the back for some odd reason. And the message was, go out and save the lost and dying, because my people are lost and dying without me, was what God said through him. The preacher interpreted the message, and the preacher started sobbing, and all you could see was this candle flickering behind him. And the way he sobbed, the preacher sobbed, it was deep. I can't explain it. I cannot say it, and can't say it like that to bring it justice. It was deep, and it was painful, and it wasn't the preacher's pain. I felt it in my heart. I felt how the Lord wants us all, and that's what I'm trying to get at. The Lord wants us all, and you are included. Of all his people, he wants you too. And so I want people to understand that God loves you all. I tend to battle with depression all the time. I still battle with it. I still struggle with doubt. But in the end, I'm a child of God. And God deserves us all, because there's this love that he carries that cannot measure any of the love in this world that humans carry, that us humans carry, because we are human. All our love combined for our families, our kids, cannot compare to the love of God. He's a mighty and loving God, and I don't understand everything. I lean on the do not lean on your own understanding. His word. I lean on that message because there's a lot that I don't understand. There's a lot I'm not supposed to understand. And I may never understand in this life or the next. But I want everybody to know that he loves you. He loves me. And you are loved. I hope this message helps somebody. And the last time I didn't give the message out right. At the end of it, where it showed that I was struggling with doubt and fear. I don't struggle with fear anymore. Yeah, I'm afraid that there are things that I am afraid of. I'm afraid of dying, and that I know who will be there. God is with me, and I want you to know he's with you too. And thank you for watching, and God bless you.